News Channel 5. Live from Minnesota's news channel, KSTP Channel 5. Bob Bruce, Wendy Lubavitch, Karen Falloon, and Joe Schmidt bring you Eyewitness News Morning.
Good morning, 24 degrees on the outside, 6 o'clock.
And it looks like we are headed for another pretty mild day. At least it feels that way this morning. Let's check with Karen Falloon up in the Weather Center. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning. Well, we'll notice a difference today. Yesterday afternoon's high temperature was 48 degrees. It's not going to reach even in the 40s today. We had a cold front move through last night. Still a few clouds left on the backside of that front. Right now, mostly cloudy, a temperature of 24 degrees. The dew point 14, the relative humidity this morning 65%. The winds are out of the north at 13 miles an hour, and the pressure is rising. The pressure will continue to rise, and we'll have some sunshine, but it's back to normal in the temperature department. I'll have all the details in about 5 minutes.
Well, at least we didn't hear snow in that change.
No.
Not yet. Thank you, Karen. Well, in the news this morning, thousands of farmers nationwide, including many here in Minnesota, could have their debts to the government written off under a new plan. Up to $7 billion in bad debts could be forgiven in an effort to keep the family farm alive. Details of the program are expected in the weeks ahead, and varying levels of debt would be handled on a case-by-case basis through the Farmers Home Administration.
The waiting game continues for some 7,000 Northwest Airlines employees. The flight attendants union remains at an impasse with management on terms of a new contract, and a strike looms ahead. Salary is the key issue yet to be resolved. Meantime, Wall Street seems unaffected by the unrest at Northwest. Northwest stock prices remain steady. The president of the University of Minnesota is trying to steady unrest there. Ken Keller has told reporters that he's done nothing wrong. Keller's come under very sharp criticism for his spending on renovations of his office and home, plus for huge overruns on the cost of the university's new telecommunications system. Keller's urging critics to wait for legislative audits to come out before pointing fingers at him.
A tragic story continues to unfold in Evansville, Minnesota. Authorities are calling it murder, but Carolyn Brookter reports some people are calling it mercy killing.
77-year-old Oscar Carlson and his wife, 71-year-old Agnes, spent most of their lives on this farm in Evansville. But recently...
Reporting live in Elk River, and we will have more from Lou later in the news. The other big labor story in the Twin Cities this morning remains in limbo this morning. Northwest Airlines is still flying, but the stalemate with the flight attendants union continues. No new labor negotiations have been scheduled, and the threat of a strike does continue to linger. This after the strike deadline came and went last Friday.
A man is in custody this morning after allegedly trying to hold up a Minneapolis motel. A desk clerk foiled the robbery, saying she'd had enough. Kevin Berger has the exclusive story of how the trap was sprung when he showed up.
Good afternoon, Imperial. May I help you?
In the 5 years she's manned the front desk at the Imperial 400 Motor Lodge, Jeanette Harvey has greeted thousands of guests, but never encountered a thief until last week.
I don't know why he came back, but he did.
Police say the same thief cleaned out this cash drawer 4 times in the past week. 3 of those times when Jeanette was on duty. When he showed up today, Jeanette was ready.
I glanced up and I saw him and I thought, oh no, here we go again. So I said, excuse me, I'll be right with you. I walked over here, pressed the little silent alarm we had, and then I said, can I help you? And he said, this is a robbery, give me your money. And he's been so casual, other than to say he has a gun in his hand and that. When I said, I'll be right with you in a minute, he just stood there, so I just went over and pressed the alarm.
The alarm rang for police, who apprehended 22-year-old Victor Cotton of St. Paul just outside the motel, finding cash when they searched him. Cotton is charged with robbing another motel in St. Paul. Charges are pending on the 4 Imperial Motor Lodge robberies. Jeanette is relieved. When the thief hit Saturday night, she resisted, and he hit her, giving her a concussion and giving her nightmares.
3 o'clock this morning, I woke up in a cold sweat, dreaming I'd been shot.
Jeanette Harvey's doctor has told her she may live with headaches for the next few weeks following the concussion she suffered. But Jeanette says with the thief now in custody, she's feeling just fine. Kevin Berger, Channel 5 Eyewitness News, Minneapolis.
A Hennepin County judge has thrown out a large part of a lawsuit brought by Carl Pohlad and Irwin Jacobs to try and gain control of the Minnesota Vikings. Yesterday's ruling goes along with requests by Vikings general manager Mike Lynn and the team's other owners. In their suit, Pohlad and Jacobs allege that Lynn and the others promoted their self-interest ahead of the teams through a series of actions. Now, whether the new ruling will end the major litigation in the 3-year-old dispute is unclear.
6:05, it'd be a little chilly when you step out the door this morning, 17 degrees in the Twin Cities.
And when we come back, we'll be meeting a very special child. That's next on Eyewitness News Morning.
When your telephone is out of service, your business goes on hold. Everything freezes in midair. You need to act fast. Turn over your phone, look for the Thai Communications label, then call Aircom. Aircom provides complete maintenance and repair for all Thai products. Turn over your phone. If it says Thai Communications, Aircom puts you back in motion.
Aircom, may we help you?
Easter is almost here, and Burlington Coat Factory is ready with a fabulous sale on children's clothes, like pretty spring dresses, lots of styles, 1/3 to 1/2 off Burlington's original low prices. Easter is almost here, and Burlington has the clothes boys need too, like this top-quality American-made suit, on sale at a remarkably low price, just $34.75. Easter is almost here. The time to get to Burlington Coat Factory is now.
You are looking at a map of metropolitan St. Paul and Minneapolis, outlined by a 100-mile circle of the Twin Cities area. Terry Feldman Nissan is your only Twin Cities Nissan dealer within this 100-mile circle to have earned the coveted Customer Satisfaction Award presented by Nissan. Terry Feldman Nissan is St. Paul's nearest and Minneapolis' only Nissan dealer open all day Saturday for parts and service. Terry Feldman Nissan, 2 minutes west of the airport on 494.
Well, good morning, Karen. You were saying warmer today. A little bit warmer.
Well,
we love this time of year.
You know, actually, I do too. Actually, it will be the same as yesterday temperature-wise, but it'll feel warmer because we have the sunshine and less wind.
A lot less wind.
A lot less wind, yes. Well, winds will actually be light and variable for much of the morning hours and eventually become southeast. We have clear skies over much of the upper Midwest this morning. There are a few clouds over the Dakotas just to the west of us, but those clouds are falling apart as they move to the east, and there are a few clouds over southern and eastern Wisconsin, and we're sort of in between. You'll note, though, a big area of cloudiness just to the south of us. This whole swirl is moving to the east-northeast through Tennessee and Ohio Valley region. It's all due to a low pressure which is centered this morning in eastern Oklahoma. Out ahead of that system, yesterday afternoon, there were tornadoes over Louisiana with some property damage and 1 injury, and there was even some damage to some aircraft at one of the regional airports in southern Louisiana, and very heavy rains continued during the night. Now, back in the colder air, there's been some freezing rain reported across parts of Missouri, and that changed to snow last night over parts of the Oklahoma, Texas Panhandle, south central Kansas. In fact, as much as 6 to 8 inches of snow in the Texas Panhandle region, and from southwestern Kansas into northeastern New Mexico. The winds were strong enough on the backside of this storm that there were ground blizzard conditions reported. Now, this is all well to the south of us, high pressure sort of protecting us, forcing this low pressure to the northeast, and this high pressure will give us a sunny day today. In fact, it's given us clear skies most of the night, and right now we have clear skies. The temperature remains 17 degrees, the dew point 5. The relative humidity is now 59%. Winds are out of the northeast at 6 miles an hour, and the pressure is holding steady. Midday today, sunshine and 29 degrees. This afternoon, sunny. Winds will be east to southeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour, and our high today will be somewhere around 33 degrees. Tonight, another clear night with those lows again in the mid-teens, and tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy and warmer with highs 34 to 38. Our weekend still looking good. Saturday and Sunday partly cloudy with lows in the 20s and highs in the 40s.
Prediction at least over 50 one day this weekend. Don't you think?
That'll be a little tough, but we may get close.
Maybe close? Okay.
Yeah.
49 I'll take.
Okay.
6:09 right now. On the outside, about 17 degrees. Let's check on the traffic with Jerry Peterson. Usually moving pretty well at this time of the morning. How is it, Jerry?
And it is running very smoothly, hence the green light on the system. 35W southbound between 694 and Highway 36. Traffic is moderate with speeds at 55 and 494 both directions between Cedar Avenue and 35W. Traffic levels are moderate with speeds at 55. Just a quick reminder that the Minneapolis snow parking ban is still in effect till April 1st, so you may not want to park on the odd side of the street. Otherwise, you'll find your car missing when you get out there. I'm Jerry Peterson reporting live for Eyewitness News Morning.
This morning, we'd like to introduce you to a very special young boy.
That's right, Lindsay. This week's Thursday's Child is a healthy 8-year-old boy who needs a permanent adoptive home of his own. Kevin Berger has the story.
When Troy visited the Minnesota Zoo, he got a close-up look at Fernando the llama. This second grader is fascinated by the animal kingdom.
I like every animal, but not snakes. They're the dangerous thing. The poisonous animal in the whole country.
What was that like to pet the llama?
It was sort of scary, but I didn't care.
Troy is developmentally delayed and is a year or two behind at school, but his foster father sees some remarkable abilities in this 8-year-old.
He's real creative with his hands. He can do wonders with his hands, especially his toy Legos. His imagination seems to go to work for him when he plays with those things.
Troy also enjoyed meeting Singer and Dancer, 2 New Guinea Highland dogs who live at the Minnesota Zoo.
Could I take them for a run?
Troy loves to run and play outdoors. He needs a 2-parent family that's got the energy to keep up with him. Troy once had problems with disruptive behavior, but those problems have diminished while he's lived in a stable, supportive foster home. He needs that kind of environment in a permanent family.
Oh, he's a very loving little boy, and he's going to take to a good family that can give him a home of love and stability.
If you have love to share and would like to know more about Troy or any of Minnesota's other waiting children, please call 646-6393 to find out more.
Well, next up, we'll have sports news. A tough night for both the Strikers and the Gophers.
And March Madness continues to heat up as high school hockey fever has hit the state. Joe Schmidt will have the complete report of sports next.
Aloha, I'm Ed Hogan, owner of Pleasant Wine Holidays. Why do we call it pleasant? First, you get a pleasant, affordable price for a week in Waikiki that includes airfare and hotel. Plus, you get a pleasant greeting, a pleasant trip to and from your hotel, and pleasant people always on hand to assist you.
What a pleasant way to go to Hawaii.
Pleasant Hawaiian Holidays. See your travel agent. We make paradise affordable.
We all have a right to personal privacy, but how much control do we actually have? I'm Bob Bruce, and on the next Twin Cities Live, we will hear from people who appear to be everyday common citizens, yet claim to be under the surveillance of the FBI. Why would a church pastor and other peace organizations be under government suspicion? Does the government have a good reason to be watchful of some for the good of us all? Could Big Brother be watching your family? Find out Thursday morning at 9 on Channel 5.
Hi, I'm Bob Goen.
And I'm Dale Harimoto. Welcome to Great Weekend.
Join us every Saturday morning for weather updates from around the country.
And late-breaking news and sports.
Plus health, fashion, finances, and consumer alerts.
And entertainment suggestions.
It's all coming up on Great Weekend.
Take a look.
Baseball's back in the air when we go to spring training. Our commentator Jack Perkins from the coast of Maine. And I'll learn how to make a great champagne brunch.
Oh, high school hockey going like crazy.
It certainly is. We're getting down to that old countdown. There's a bug that's going around that affects over thousands of people here in the next few weeks. It's called March Madness, and the only known cure is to get out and watch some high school state tournaments. The first one starts tonight at the Civic Center, where the wrestlers will grapple for state titles. Next weekend, the Pucksters take over. The team to beat could be Bloomington Jefferson. Jefferson rolled over Blake last night to move within 1 game of the state tournament. Todd Peterson passes here to Tony Bianchi for his second goal of the night, and top-ranked Jeff was on its way to an 8-1 victory. Jefferson will now meet the defending state champion and crosstown rival Kennedy in the section finals. Kennedy defeated Edison 7-1. Here, Kyle McLean tips in the shot by Dan Bauer. That tied the game at 1, and Kennedy rolled from there 7-1. Other section action last night, it was Hill Murray in double overtime over White Bear Lake 5-4. What a game there. Osseo beat Park Center, and Cretin Durham Hall over St. Bernard 6-2. The season for the North Stars has gone from bad to worse to just plain awful. You have to start feeling sorry for these guys. More bad news. Craig Hartsburg was back on the ice Tuesday for the first time since January 11th. He won't be on the ice tonight when the Stars take on Detroit. Hartsey re-injured his shoulder on Tuesday in Pittsburgh. Around the league last night, Quebec over Toronto 4-3. The Rangers over the Islanders by a pair. Washington all over New Jersey, and Hartford 2-1 over the Blackhawks. Sooner or later, the Gopher basketball team is going to beat a good team in the Big Ten. It probably will happen later, but the Gophers sure have come close a few times. Last night in Columbus, they just got beat by the Buckeyes of Ohio State. The Gophers held their own most of this game. The feed there goes to Willie Burton, and the Gophers trailed by 2 at the half. But for the second game in a row, the Gophers came out cold in the second half. Ohio State scored the first 9 points. That was Jay Burson with 2 of his 23. But the Gopher team has a lot of determination. They fought back. Ray Gaffney will get 3 on that jumper right there. But Ohio State got a few calls from the refs down the stretch, and they outmuscled the Gophers underneath as they go on to beat Minnesota 77-74. The Gophers host Michigan State on Saturday. The Strikers got cleaned up with Comet last night. The Kansas City Comets. The Strikers got off to a great start against KC. Watch Hector Marinero set up this shot. He sees an opening, takes a shot, and has the goal. The Strikers had a 4-0 lead with 19 minutes left in the game. And even though Ray Hudson will get this goal here, the Strikers lost to KC 6-5 in overtime. The Strikers will be at Baltimore on Sunday. They still lead by 3.5 games.
Joe, you know, it's hard to believe, but I remember when I first came here way back in, 78, 77, the North Stars were flat on their back. They were really bad. But now I think it could be even worse than prior to the merger with Cleveland.
Yeah, we got to look for another team to merge with, I think.
They're going to have to do something soon because you kind of wonder where Herbie Brooks is going to fit in all this.
Especially with the GM situation the way it is. You know, the rumor is they talked to Bob Johnson. If Johnson comes in, Herbie's definitely out. Those two are not personalities.
And yet remember the Twins. Remember
That's right.
The Twins.
The Twins.
All kinds of things can happen. So there can be a turnaround.
6:17 right now, 17 degrees in the Twin Cities. In a moment, we'll check the world and national news for you.
And the unrest in Panama may be altering the way business is done at the Panama Canal. That story next.
When I was a kid, I worked at McDonald's. Yeah, in fact, using a spatula probably helped me with my curveball. So I think it's kind of funny that after 2 world championships and nearly 300 wins in the big leagues, I'm back, pitching for McDonald's again.
Delicious homemade breakfast biscuit sandwiches are now only 88 cents each at McDonald's. Win Twins tickets every morning. You must register daily during breakfast for a chance to win.
Good stuff.
Stouffer's Dinner Supreme presents the Duffy Sisters.
Hi, Joey. What's new?
What's new? This is new, Mrs. Duffy. Stouffer's Dinner Supreme.
We know all about Stouffer's, Joey.
But this is their new chicken parmesan dinner, complete unto itself. And this is Stouffer's Turkey Divan.
That is new.
Veal parmesan, peppy chicken Monterey, all microwavable and all with the name Stouffer's.
We'll take them.
Great.
Stouffer's. Now we make Dinner Supreme, too.
Ask him what's new.
One thing about pre-emergence herbicides, you need a timely rain to make them work. New Tandem changes that. Instead of watching for rain, you watch weeds die. Tandem post-emergence herbicide doesn't need rain for activation. It goes to work the day you apply it. In one pass, a Tandem tank mix combination cleans out over 30 grasses and broadleaf weeds all season long. Don't let pre-emergence herbicides leave you in the dust. Try New Tandem, then stand back and watch weeds die.
The time now is 6:19, and it is also time for us to check on the traffic conditions this morning with Jerry Peterson over at Metro Traffic Control. Jerry, how are things going?
They continue to run very smoothly around the metro. Thank you, Lindsay. 35 east southbound between 36 and 94. You'll find it moderate with speeds at the posted. Westbound through Spaghetti Junction, you'll find more of the same with speeds at 50. Crosstown eastbound between Highway 100 and 35W is moderate but building to moderately heavy levels. Westbound, moderate only. 169 northbound from County Road 1 to Prairie Center Drive, you'll find it moderately heavy. Speeds up near the posted. I'm Jerry Peterson reporting live for Eyewitness News Morning.
And a pretty nice day out there, Karen is telling us. Feeling warmer than yesterday.
Sure. Less wind, sunshine. That sun's getting stronger now, so that makes all the difference in the world. We've had clear skies most of the night, and in case you missed it, there was a full moon. Now, this moon is known by a couple of names, one of which is the sap moon. That's because right now, or pretty soon, the sap will start running in the trees. We'll be tapping into maple trees soon. And it's also known as the worm moon. That's because it's at this time of the year that the ground starts to soften, the earthworms start to appear, and of course, robins are quick to follow, and that sort of heralds the beginning of spring. Well, now, we've had clear skies to see that moon all night long. Clear skies at the moment, a temperature of 17 degrees. The dew point 5. The relative humidity is 59%. Winds are out of the northeast at 6 miles an hour. The pressure is holding steady. Not everyone got a chance to see that full moon last night. In fact, just to the south of us, much of the country is under cloudy skies this morning. And these clouds stretch from southwestern corner of the country across the mid-Mississippi Valley into the mid-Atlantic states, all due to a low pressure system centered over eastern Oklahoma this morning. There has been snow from Mexico, the Texas Panhandle area, into south central Kansas. There's a band of freezing rain and sleet from eastern Kansas across Missouri into central Indiana and central Illinois and through southern Ohio. In fact, there will probably be a band of snow later on this afternoon, stretching from central Illinois to northeastern Ohio as this low pressure continues moving toward Tennessee. Very heavy rains expected over the central Gulf coastal states, and flooding may be a problem in parts of the Florida Panhandle, southwestern Georgia a little bit later on tonight and tomorrow. Severe weather, again, a possibility over the central Gulf coastal states. Now, by tomorrow, we're under high pressure system right now, and that will continue over the next 48 hours. So we can expect those temperatures with that sunshine out there to warm by a few degrees each day as we head into the weekend. Midday today, sunshine and 29 degrees. This afternoon, sunny, 33. Winds will be east to southeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Tonight, clear skies, another mild night with those lows in the mid-teens. And tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy and warmer with highs 34 to 38. And on Saturday, we will see temperatures in the 40s.
It is amazing how much that full moon lights things up
I
when
know.
you look outside.
It's like daylight out there.
It's almost as if I was thinking, sunrise can't be this early.
I know.
Thanks, Karen. These are the top stories in the news this morning. There will be talk today on the Senate floor about sanctions against Panama. Senators John Kerry and Alphonse D'Amato say they'll present new ways to pressure the military government of Manuel Noriega. One possible step is to withhold U.S. fees for the use of the Panama Canal. Well, the man who accused Pat Robertson of chickening out 37 years ago says Robertson is chickening out again. Former Senator Pete McCloskey says Pat Robertson is now trying to avoid a libel trial as he avoided combat in the Korean War. Robertson is trying to drop a libel suit against McCloskey, claiming that the suit would interfere with Super Tuesday. The trial is scheduled for that day. It's up to the national church leaders to take charge if they want to increase the punishment for TV evangelist Jimmy Swaggart. Church leaders have asked the Louisiana leaders of the Assemblies of God Church to stiffen their 3-month penalty. Louisiana leaders are standing by that 3-month sanction. The music world paid tribute to its own last night. The Irish rock group U2, Paul Simon and Whitney Houston were among the winners. U2 picked up 2 Grammys, including Best Album of the Year, The Joshua Tree.
Well, the time now is 6:23. It is 17 degrees here in the Twin Cities this morning. And coming up next, the Elk River teachers are back in school today, and we will be going back to Elk River Live to hear how the teachers are feeling about that new contract.
And we'll talk with a farmer who's hoping that a new government program will help keep him in business. That's next on Eyewitness News Morning.
Use Lime Away every day, and you won't have hard water stains.
Convenience stores are popping up everywhere, and they all seem to be alike, small and limited. Except one, Tom Thumb. Tom Thumb has more than other convenience stores, so you can pick up almost anything. How does that make the other guys feel? Downright embarrassed.
Get OJ Orange Pineapple Juice for $1.79. Tombstone 12-inch pizza, just $2.59. And Doritos are $1.89 this week at Tom Thumb.
Precision and skill are what judges are looking for in world-class diving. Precision and skill are why I look to Foreman & Clark for the best in men's clothing. Every Foreman & Clark garment has been skillfully hand-tailored using the finest in quality materials. Like this fashionable double-breasted suit. It's been hand-sewn in all the stress points, but affordably priced. The same goes for Foreman & Clark sports coats, slacks, and outer coats. With affordable elegance like this, it's no wonder so many give Foreman & Clark a 10 in the clothing competition.
Well, as we were telling you yesterday, the federal government is now saying as a last resort, it'll be going a lot easier on those behind in their farm payments. The Farmers Home Administration says that farmers who've gone bankrupt could find themselves back in operation.
In some cases, the loans may be forgiven altogether. And Carolyn Bruchter reports that she found a Wisconsin farmer who is hoping the new rules will allow him to keep farming.
37-year-old Gary Selleck made the most money he's ever made last year, $18,000. Despite that, he is also knee-deep in debt. He owes the Farmers Home Loan Administration $210,000.
True, we can't afford really to farm, but we can't afford to get out of farming.
It's been a roller coaster for Selleck. This is his family farm, but when he started 13 years ago, he had nothing, so he borrowed money to pay for everything. Then things crashed for farmers, and 3 years ago, he sold everything and left farming.
I took a job, but I really couldn't honestly pay FHA what they needed every month to stay on the farm.
He returned still in debt and took on a little more debt when he bought some equipment and a few cows. Now he could be on the verge of losing it all. A new federal program that would forgive farmers their debts gives him hope.
Certainly, it would benefit me if they decided that that's what they wanted to do with us. It certainly would.
Selleck says even though the program would benefit him, it is not a cure-all for farmers' problems.
Still, ultimately, it boils down to the point that farmers have to have a cost of living increase just like everybody else does.
But for now, there is at least hope that a way of life can be preserved. Carolyn Bruchter, Channel 5, Eyewitness News.
Window Warehouse is more than a warehouse of windows. You'll find a huge selection of brand-name doors, cabinets, and windows to fit any need, any budget, whether you're remodeling, replacing, or building. You can count on Window Warehouse to help add beauty and efficiency to your home with quality products and personalized service. Window Warehouse, your helpful window, door, and cabinet store. With 4 convenient locations, Fridley, Bloomington, West St. Paul, and now open in Maplewood.
The things we do to get even with our cars, just because the engine's hesitating or making funny noises, when it's so easy to bring it to Precision Tune. Precision Tune's guaranteed tune-ups stop your engine's hesitation and pinging. So don't take it out on your car. Instead, aim for the nearest Precision Tune, the engine performance experts.
Call 922-9000 for the Precision Tune nearest you.
I just bought this sectional during Levitt's Greater Savings Sale for only $999. It has everything. A built-in incliner for extra relaxation. Comfortable high-back styling. It even opens into a queen-size bed for 2. And the best part, it's on sale for only $999. It's the biggest bargain in town. Now at the Levitt's near you.
You'll love it at Levitt's.
Beautiful, feminine, tasteful fashions at Carey's, exclusively for larger sizes. Career and fun fashions with accessories. Build a wardrobe from the Galinda Wang collection by Lachine. Gorgeous imported fabrics that go to work or play. Quality and design that you can count on from Lachine at Carey's. Come to Carey's for all your career wardrobe needs in larger sizes. Eden Prairie and Burnsville Malls. Carey's Wardrobe for women.
629, 17 degrees. Here are some of the stories we're following for you this morning.
Protesters waved what they called home hankies and said, "Don't tax us out of our homes," yesterday at the state capitol. The group wants lawmakers to restore 1/3 of the renter's credit and property tax refunds withheld last year.
Minneapolis police chased a man several miles this morning before the man's truck crashed into a tree. Police say the truck was stolen and that the chase began after the man tried to go down the wrong way on a one-way street. No one was seriously injured, and the driver was arrested in Lake Harriet Park.
And in St. Paul, late last night, fire broke out on the 5th floor of the psychiatric ward of St. Joseph's Hospital in one room. Fire officials are saying very little, but they do say that no one was injured.
But our top story this morning is happening in Elk River.
And our Lou Harvin is in Elk River to bring us up to date on the latest with the teachers' strike. Lou, what's happening there now? Still quiet this morning?
Still quiet. The buses are getting ready to come in. Custodians are back inside, and they're getting everything ready. I'm here at the the Kenneth Parker Elementary School, and there's a number of schools here on School Street in Elk River, and they expect all of the 6,000 plus students back in classes today and 325 teachers to return. The teachers are seem to be very satisfied with their contract. They're getting about a $3,900 benefit and wage package over the next 2-year period. That means starting teachers were earning about $18,000 a year. That'll go to $20,000 at the end of the 2-year contract. Teachers with more experience who are earning about $38,000 will be getting to about $40,000 plus. Now, the Elk River teachers all along and all last week were concerned that their pay scale and the benefits was not comparable to the amount of money that other teachers in the Twin City area were making. They were about 42nd on a list of 44. This still keeps them in that same general contract area and that same rating. But we have to keep in mind that there are a number of other school systems around the state that are still negotiating new contracts. But the Elk River teachers say at least this keeps them within range and keeps them from slipping back. So I should also mention that 3 of those 7 days that were missed are going to have to be made up, so kids aren't going to get out of it entirely. I was just imagining some kids not going to school today saying that they didn't know there was class. There is class today, they're open, and back to normal.
Lou, are they expecting that everybody will, in fact, all the students will show up today because word was out early yesterday?
Yeah, they're expecting them to all show up, and whoever's missing, will be marked absent from school.
And all classes are taking place today. Elementary kids, high school, everybody should be back.
It's interesting, because I was talking to a number of teachers. They say after a while you treat your students like your own children, and they miss them, and they're going to be glad to be back with them. So we'll see a lot of hugging, I'm sure, going on.
Okay, Lou, thank you very much. And Lou will have more for us today on Eyewitness News Midday to bring us up to date.
Time now to check on the traffic with Jerry Peterson over at Metro Traffic Control. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, and traffic is on the build around the Metro. County Road 18 southbound, Medicine Lake Road to Highway 12, you'll find it moderately heavy. 494 eastbound between County Road 18 and France, moderately heavy. Westbound, moderate to moderately heavy. On the north end, you'll find 694 eastbound, County Road 18 to Brooklyn Boulevard has reached the heavy stages. I'm Jerry Peterson reporting live for Eyewitness News Morning.
Might be a good day to fly away. It's been so nice here. Now it gets a little chilly. Although we are getting awfully spoiled that 1 week, because this is about
You wouldn't want to be going to Illinois today, that's for sure, with the freezing rain there.
He's saying we might want to fly away, and I'm thinking, where would I want to go? Orlando, Miami. I think they're having some sunshine today. Temperatures in the 70s and 80s. But that's about it. Unless, of course, you can take your chances in the southwest, but it won't be quite as warm. We have on the map this morning a low pressure which is affecting the weather over a good portion of the country this morning. That low pressure is centered in eastern Oklahoma, and it is moving to the northeast. And during the night, there have been some very heavy rains and strong winds, 50 to 70 mile an hour winds over portions of Arkansas, Mississippi, and western Tennessee. Those very strong winds continue during the day today as this system continues to move to the northeast. Now, some of the colder air in the upper Midwest here has managed to funnel into the central plains, and of course, that's meant quite a bit of snow. In fact, right around Lubbock, Texas, they've had 6 to 8 inches of snow. In fact, it's quite possible by later on this afternoon that we'll find out there may even be a few 10-inch totals. And there were ground blizzard conditions reported over portions of the Oklahoma, Texas panhandle into northeastern New Mexico. Well, now all this rain is spreading into the northeast. In fact, by this afternoon, there will be a combination of rain, snow, and sleet from St. Louis through Indiana, Ohio, and by late this afternoon or early this evening, it just might reach New York City. Atlanta will see a few showers today, temperature of 66 degrees. Denver will be clearing out finally after getting some snow yesterday, partly cloudy skies and in the 40s. Las Vegas will have some sunshine and 69 degrees. In fact, Phoenix will have some sunshine as well, but the temperatures again in the 60s. Well, now we have high pressure across the upper Midwest, and we're a bit cooler, but road. At least we have the sunshine and rather light winds. And tomorrow that high pressure will still dominate the weather picture. And as that high pressure starts to slide a little bit to the east, we'll turn our attention to the Pacific Northwest, because that low pressure may just make it across the northern Rockies, so that by Monday afternoon we might have a shower, a rain shower here in the Twin Cities. But we'll let you know on the timing of that next system, because between now and then we have nothing but sunshine. Right now we have clear skies out there, 17 degrees, the dew point 5, the relative humidity 59%. Winds are out of the northeast, the pressure steady. Midday, we'll have sunshine and 29 degrees. This afternoon, 33 for a high. And then tonight, clear skies again, another mild night. Temperatures dropping into the mid-teens. And tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy and warmer with highs 34 to 38 degrees.
So we'll hope you can keep up this trend of the weekend weather being very nice.
Almost too good to be true, don't you think?
That's what's making me so nervous.
I know.
Plans to be leaving town in another 10 days when the big storm will probably hit, right?
Right.
Well, in the headlines this morning, President Reagan's aid package for the Nicaraguan Contras faces another test in Congress. And Carol Lynn reports from Washington the House will vote on the aid package today after rejecting it just 1 month ago.
The future of the Nicaraguan Contras once again goes to the House floor for a vote today. And when it does, it is with a warning.
Unless the freedom fighters remain a viable force, the peace process will quickly become what it was before, an empty charade, dragging endlessly and fruitlessly on, while the Soviets continue their military buildup on the American mainland.
President Reagan lost his Contra aid battle a month ago when the democratically controlled House rejected his military aid package. But the Contras may get their guns and bullets yet. The Republicans are challenging the Democrats, once again asking for military aid. But the Democrats control the rules in today's debate, and the Speaker of the House says the Republican plan must wait until the Democratic humanitarian aid package is considered. Outraged Republicans say this gives the Democrats an unfair advantage and charge that voting for humanitarian aid without military aid is voting for communism.
You may hear Yoko Lennon caterwauling, all we are saying is give peace a chance. But, Mr. Speaker, put the word communism in place of peace, and that's what you and your liberals and radicals in your party are helping to pull off on the soil of North America.
But for the Contras, it's a question of survival, not political rhetoric. A question of how long they will last without U.S. aid, which ended 4 days ago. In Washington, Carol Lynn reporting for the News Star Network.
Twin Cityans are one step closer to being required that their cars go through emission tests each year. The emissions test bill cleared a House committee yesterday at the state capitol, and that bill calls for testing of emission equipment to begin in the year 1991.
Northwest Airlines continues to fly this morning despite the fact that it has been almost a week since a strike deadline by flight attendants came and went. No new labor negotiations have been scheduled. Yesterday, flight attendant union officials were urging use of guerrilla tactics. That could mean delayed flights and lost baggage for Northwest passengers. More takeovers are in the business news this morning, and last year was not a good year for America's banks. Stephen Ogg has this in this morning's Money Matters.
Good morning. Canadian real estate developer Robert Campeau says he's not giving up his attempt to gain control of Federated Department Stores, the biggest store chain in the United States. Yesterday, Federated directors agreed to sell out to R.H. Macy for a combination of cash and stock in the surviving company. The deal's worth somewhat more than $6 billion, $5.25 billion in cash at $74.50 a share for 80% of the stock. Macy's would give shareholders stock in the surviving company for the remaining 20%. But last evening, Campeau raised his bid to $75 a share in cash for 80% of Federated, plus $44 a share in cash for the rest. A deal designed to appeal to the arbitrageurs who prefer cash. Macy's hoping that investors would prefer stock in the surviving company. In essence, a chance to bet that Macy's managers will get the company moving. Meanwhile, on Wall Street, the Dow hardly moved yesterday, up barely a point to 2071.29. Winners outnumbered losers 3-2. The New York Stock Exchange Composite Index rose 0.50 to 150.68 on 199.5 million shares. Occidental Petroleum, the most active, unchanged at 26.5. The Standard & Poor's 500 rose 0.76 to 267.98. On the American Exchange, the Market Value Index rose 2.01 to 290.92. Winners over losers 3-2 on almost 12 million shares. Over the counter, the NASDAQ Composite Index rose 3.06 to 370.38. Winners over losers 4-2 on 146 million shares. Farmers Group the most active, up 2.5 to 62 even. And the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation says for American bankers, 1987 was their worst year since the Great Depression, with profits down 80%.
Want to find out how your stock does today on the market? Just call CityLine at 645-6060.
In last night's Grammy Awards in New York City, the Irish rock group U2 picked up 2 awards. The awards for their $12 million selling album, The Joshua Tree. Michael Jackson, nominated for several awards, got only 1 Grammy last night. Paul Simon's record, Graceland, won top honors for the 2nd year in a row.
6:39, still 17 degrees on the outside in the Twin Cities.
And in just a minute, we'll be introducing you to a very unusual cat. I think you may be surprised by just what this cat looks like. We'll have that in just a moment.
Bacon, bacon, bacon. Say, did you know Oscar Mayer has an easier way to find leaner bacon? Oh, yeah? Just find the Oscar Mayer Center Cut Bacon section. Okay. Cover your eyes. That's easy. And pick any package. Any package. I got it. It worked. Right, because hand-trimmed Oscar Mayer Center Cut bacon is verified 25% leaner than regular bacon. So it's just the best that it can be. We got it. What a team. Yeah. Oscar Mayer Center Cut bacon, so much leaner you can buy it with your eyes closed.
To take measurements as quickly and accurately as you want, you'd need wings, very sticky feet, or new Digitape, the ultrasonic tapeless measure. Digitape's ultrasonic system lets you accurately measure wall to wall, floor to ceiling, or object to wall with speed and precision never before possible. Digitape displays the measurement in feet or meters. Digitape, the professional tool that makes measurement jobs fly. New Digitape, nothing else measures up.
I'm Steve Edelman.
I'm Sharon Anderson. Coming up Friday on Good Company, bargain shopper Betsy Peak has a preview of some children's sample sales for big savings on kids' clothes this weekend.
Also, we'll take a look at some new types of perms for both curly and wavy hairdos.
Also, meet an astrologist who claims that parents can raise their children better by understanding their sun signs.
And we'll show you how you can make a great pizza that you can serve for breakfast. Join us at 3 for Good Company.
A year in the life of Joan Rivers, a personal look back. From the highs of late-night TV to the lows of a cruel press, to the despair over the loss of her beloved Edgar, to the courage of facing a national TV audience again. Joan Rivers, an exclusive interview with Cindy Adams.
Watch A Current Affair tonight at 6:30 on Channel 5.
So over the many weeks and months, Sue Bauman has brought many unusual pets for us down here that you can adopt. And today she has a cat with a punk hairdo. The poor little thing here has got about half fur and half no fur. What happened to this? Who is this?
Well, this one was a stray that came into the Humane Society. He's about 2 years old, neutered male. And when he came to us, he was solid mats.
When you say mat, the hair was just all tangled up into...
Right. It was just so solid that when you touched the cat, it hurt him to be handled and touched.
It can get that painful?
It can get that painful. So what we had to do, we felt so sorry for him that we had to shave him down. And now he looks like this, and it's going to take all summer for his hair to grow back out again.
So you had to basically just shave him on both sides.
Right, right. And the hair came off in 2 solid chunks, one from each side.
So you have to take care of, especially if you have a long-haired cat. And can this happen? I would imagine with dogs the same thing could happen if they have long hair.
Right. Cats and dogs, they need to be groomed regularly. Otherwise, this is what has to be done because those mats get painful. They can get abscesses under the hair.
What if you start getting some mats on your animal? I mean, do you just completely try to comb them out? What if you can't comb them out?
Well, you can take them to a groomer, and they're a little more expert at getting the mats out. But you need to start at the bottom of the hair. It's this undergrowth is what gets matted up, and that's what you need to get combed out. Otherwise, just combing the top hair to make them look pretty doesn't do the job.
Now, is this cat available for adoption?
He's up for adoption. He's just a real sweetheart, loves to be petted, purrs a lot.
And it's guaranteed that his hair will grow back?
Yes.
The number to call is 645-PETS if you would like to adopt this cute little kitty and well-behaved and everything. It just needs a little more hair.
Right.
Next up in sports, we'll take a look at Kirby Puckett, the model, and the Minnesota Gopher basketball team takes another good team right down to the wire last night. Joe Schmidt with sports.
Saab's innovative technology starts at around $15,000 for the 900. Moves gradually up through the 900S, then onto the 900 Turbo, then the Saab 9000S, from there to the 9000 Turbo at around $28,000, and stops at the Saab Viggen, which runs about $20 million.
Now is a good time to buy or lease a Saab from one of 3 Minneapolis-St. Paul Saab dealers.
One leading corn soil insecticide says to apply in furrow for the best rootworm control. And leading universities say you get the best rootworm control with a banded application. We agree, because a T-band application of Lorsban 15G insecticide gives you the best of both. In furrow application and banded. You get the best control of rootworms and other damaging insects. T-band Lorsban 15G. That's corn security.
Maybe Alaska isn't all igloos are nice. Maybe the governor likes it up there.
Oh, Drexel, that's ridiculous.
I know one thing. He went up there to find out why tourists that should be coming here are going there, and he hadn't come back.
You know, I should be getting back for that range meeting. Governor, I just canceled it. Well, good.
Alaska.
The Acro Mr. Inside floor mat is tough tweed nylon with a non-slip base. And in March, it's just $4.99 at participating True Value hardware stores.
Easter is almost here, and Burlington Coat Factory is ready with a fabulous sale on children's clothes, like pretty spring dresses, lots of styles, 1/3 to 1/2 off Burlington's original low prices. Easter is almost here, and Burlington has the clothes boys need too, like this top-quality American-made suit, on sale at a remarkably low price, just $34.75. Easter is almost here. The time to get to Burlington Coat Factory is now.
It's kind of interesting to watch this basketball team develop under Clem, because each game he seems to take one more step. He's starting to take more and more teams right to the end of the game, and I think next year they'll start to get over the hump a little bit.
They'll probably win a few of those games next year. This year they just can't seem to get over that hump. Clem Haskins and his Gopher basketball team have had more close encounters this year than the city of Elmwood, Wisconsin. The Gophers have come close to beating good teams this year about 6 times. Last night they did it again. This game was in Columbus, Ohio, and the Gophers gave the Buckeyes a pretty good run. Willie Burton works underneath here for a pair. Minnesota was down by 2 at the half. Ohio State came out gunning in the second half and scored the first 9 points of the half. Jay Burson, one of the top players in the league, netted 23 for the Bucks. But give the Gophers some credit. They made it very interesting. Ray Gaffney hit a 3-pointer, and the Gophers had it close in the end. But Ohio State was on their home court, and they were able to hit some key buckets in the last 2 minutes to beat the Gophers 77-74. The Minnesota Strikers better hope their lead in the Eastern Division holds up better than their lead they had last night. The Strikers got off to a great start in Kansas City. This goal coming up here by Hector Marinero helped spot the Strikers to a 4-0 lead. But in the second half, the Comets tied the game and beat Minnesota in overtime by a score of 6-5. Despite this goal by Ray Hudson, the Strikers still lead the East by 3.5 games. Willis Reed has only coached 2 games for the New Jersey Nets this year, but he already has my vote for Coach of the Year in the NBA. He's 2-0, and oh, what a win last night. The Nets went to the Boston Garden and beat the Celtics. Roy Hinson scores here as the Nets opened it up in the third quarter. It was the first time that an Eastern Conference team has won in Boston since 1985. The Nets won it last night, 117-107. March Madness goes into full swing today as the state wrestling tournament gets underway at the Civic Center in St. Paul. Some high school hockey tournament action last night. In Section 3, it was Hill Murray in double overtime over White Bear Lake. Osseo beat Park Center. Section 4, Cretin-Durham Hall over St. Bernard. Section 5, Jefferson beat Blake, and Kennedy beat Edison. Move over, Cheryl Teagues and Brooke Shields. There's a new young hot model who might put you pretties out of the business. Yes, one of the top photographers in the business spent hours this week trying to capture the beauty, splendor, and personality of her subject. The photographer is Annie Leibowitz. Her subject was Kirby Puckett.
I don't have any big expectations. I'm just going to go out, like I said, and just have fun and doing it because Annie's got a good reputation. I'm just glad to be working with her.
Kirby is not going to be on the next cover of Glamour magazine, but he will soon appear in print ads for American Express. And of course, everybody in Minnesota knows who that man is, but that's kind of a good little bit that Kirby's cashing in.
Just happens to be one of the great photographers of our time. They're taking his picture.
She's taken some of the great people.
And she's going to be doing you later today, I understand, Joe, right? Another great.
It's a color crayon.
Well, the time now is 6:48, 17 degrees in the Twin Cities.
We'll have some information about the upcoming Michael Jackson concert for you when Eyewitness News Morning continues.
In all the world, there's only one way to travel. The Uniglobe way. No other travel agent is as professional, as well-trained. No other travel agent cares more for your travel needs. That's why Uniglobe is the largest travel agency franchise network in all the world. One world, one you, one travel agent, Uniglobe.
Where would your business be or your career without reliable telephone service? Some companies leave their customers wringing their hands, hoping for the best. But not Aircom. Aircom sells reliable tie systems that grow with your business. And when you need service, locally based Aircom is there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year long. Call Aircom, the local company that responds.
Aircom, may we help you?
This is the Great Chevy Face-Off, featuring the 1988 Chevrolet Corsica at your Twin Cities area Chevy Team dealers. Corsica's only $10,460 with all this equipment. And when Chevy's Corsica faces off against Ford Taurus with the same features, Corsica beats the Taurus price by over $2,270. If you're buying this week, your best shot is Corsica. Now at your Twin Cities area Chevy Team dealers.
Imagine this car is a Highland superstore. And further imagine that each of these men is a TV stereo or a class. Now you have an idea of just how overstocked Highland is and why you can save so much. Now through Saturday, get this GE VHS video recorder with remote just $198. So come to Highland's overstock sale before things get blown out of proportion.
This morning on Good Morning America, visit with Action Jackson. Carl Weathers and his co-star Vanity join us.
Plus the winners of the Grammy Awards.
That's this morning on Good Morning America.
Another day, if you bundle the kids up just a bit, you can take them to the park.
True. It is a few degrees cooler this morning than it was yesterday morning. In fact, the temperatures are in the teens below zero in north central Minnesota. The temperatures range this morning from 12 below zero at this hour at International Falls, Minnesota, to 19 degrees above. Temperatures this morning are chillier in the northeastern corner of the state because we have high pressure sitting right up over International Falls, but it is dominating the weather elsewhere, and so the temperatures are cooler by at least 5 degrees. Here in the Twin Cities, clear skies and 17 degrees. The winds are out of the northeast at 6 miles an hour, and the pressure right now holding steady. Satellite picture this morning showing clear skies all across the upper Midwest. A few clouds to the west of us in the Dakotas. Those are falling apart as they move in our direction. High pressure sitting over northeastern Minnesota, though, is holding the rest of this to the south of us, and it is moving to the northeast, passing us right by. By tomorrow, that high pressure will still dominate the weather, sitting right over central Minnesota, and the low pressure to our southeast now will continue on its way through the mid-Atlantic states. By tomorrow afternoon, something we'll want to watch is a low pressure moving in from the Pacific Northwest, and that may just make it across the northern Rockies, so that we may have a few showers in the forecast sometime on Monday, but from now through the weekend, clear sailing ahead. Midday today, sunshine and 29 degrees. This afternoon, sunny and 33. Tonight, clear once again with lows in the mid-teens, and tomorrow, sunshine and highs just a bit warmer, 34 to 38 degrees. This weekend, partly cloudy both Saturday and Sunday. Low temperatures will be in the 20s with highs in the 40s. And Monday, there you see a few showers. And right now, the timing on that is sometime Monday afternoon. Otherwise, generally partly cloudy with highs again in the 40s. So warm right into the beginning of next week.
Great weekend to get out and kind of clean up all the winter debris in your yard. Did you get all the sand and all around the edge? I live on a corner and I get all this like
I suddenly noticed I have a yard. I mean, the snow just suddenly disappeared.
Get out there and rake up all that thatch. One of my favorite things to do. 6:54, let's check on the traffic now before you head off to work with Jerry Peterson at Metro Traffic Control. Jerry?
Good morning, and Highway 12 eastbound beginning to slow at Worth Parkway as traffic becomes heavy. Again, don't forget the alternates Highway 7, 55, or Glenwood. Crosstown eastbound is moderately heavy between 18 and 35W, and your drive in from 35W, you'll find it moderately heavy from the crosstown. In St. Paul, 35 east southbound 694 to Highway 36 is moderately heavy to heavy, becoming heaviest at Maryland Avenue. Don't forget the parking ban still in effect for Minneapolis. That continues until April 1st. I'm Jerry Peterson reporting live for Eyewitness News Morning.
Here's a look at the headlines this morning. A Syrian military source says a West German kidnapped in Lebanon 5 weeks ago was freed before dawn today in Beirut. The report says that after being released by his Shiite captors, Ralph Schrey was taken to the Syrian capital of Damascus. A lawyer for Panama's deposed president says the U.S. is trying to freeze Panamanian government funds. The attorney says steps are being taken to assure that money in U.S. banks won't be released to military leader Manuel Noriega. Secretary of State George Shultz is returning to the Middle East today. The Secretary of State is to continue his efforts for a peace plan. Shultz has been in Brussels for the last 2 days, attending the NATO meeting. And the House has passed a civil rights restoration bill. The landmark bill was approved overwhelmingly last night, but the fight is not over. President Reagan has vowed to veto the bill, which would broaden protections for women, minorities, the elderly, and the disabled. And last night's Grammy Awards ceremony didn't turn out as well as Michael Jackson may have hoped for. He won only 1 Grammy for his album Bad. Now, Jackson will be bringing his Bad tour to the Met Center May 4th, and tickets will be sold by lottery at the Met and at Dayton's beginning March 7th.
Well, this has been a show for cat lovers today. We had a cat on the program earlier with a punk hairdo, but look at this. Look who got the royal treatment last night at a pageant that bears his name. Yes, indeed, Morris the Cat, who graced the second annual 9 Lives Morris the Cat Awards in Beverly Hills. 9 feline finalists from around the country lined up for judging as the best household cat of the year, with celebrities like Ed Asner casting votes and Joanne Worley announcing the winner.
Oh, you guys. Oh, this is all my work. Number 8, Woodpile. They're both crying. Woodpile is crying. Cheryl is crying.
The winner once again, Woodpile, a cat from New Jersey. You need a cat to have your little golden retriever play with during the day. Just kind of throw it around a little bit. Right, Joe?
Yeah, he would definitely like that. On the sports calendar today, more high school tournament action. The state wrestling tournament gets underway at the St. Paul Civic Center. Simley and Canby are the favorites there. And more high school hockey semifinal games tonight, both at the Met Center and the Coliseum. The North Stars will be out to break their latest streak tonight in Detroit. Craig Hartsburg, who just got off the injured list, is back on it with a shoulder problem, and he'll miss the game tonight. The Stars continue to have some problems. Karen?
We have plenty of sunshine in the forecast, and that's sunshine with a capital S. Now, temperatures will be just like they were yesterday, actually, in the lower 30s, but we'll have less wind, so it should feel just a bit warmer. Lows tonight will again be in the mid-teens with clear skies, and tomorrow, high temperatures should be around 36, 37 degrees. Still plenty of sunshine. Bob?
Today at 9 on Twin Cities Live is Big Brother watching you. Recently, many organizations found out through the Freedom of Information Act that they had been investigated by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI. Now, 10 of those organizations are right here in Minnesota, one of them a local church. Should the FBI be investigating Minnesotans, private citizens, just because of their political views? We'll talk about invasion of your privacy today at 9 on Twin Cities Live.
And coming up this morning on Eyewitness News Midday, we will go back to Elk River to update the story there. As students now are returning to school, the strike there is over. Also, Brian Lambert will join us with a review of a new movie. It's called Frantic. And Debbie Enblum will join us with weekend entertainment news And Debbie will have kind of a fashion show for you today with the popular new fabric for your swimwear, so you'll be sure that you'll want to catch that. And I understand, Bob, that this swimwear is made out of fish skin.
Probably use it walleye fishing or something. I don't know.
Well, that
a
about
walleye
does it.
suit.
Yeah, walleye suit. I bet that's it. We'll have to see. That's the news for now. Give us a call if you see something happening. Call us on the tip line. That number is 5TV News.
588-6397 if you see news happening. Coming up next, Good Morning America. It's rumored that Gary Gaetti of the Minnesota Twins is a guest on the show today. That's what I hear from my sports expert, Joe Schmidt. So you might want to catch Good Morning America coming up next. We'll have local news updates for you at 7:25 and 8:25. Be a little chilly out there today, but if you put a coat on, you should enjoy it. So have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock.
KSTP, Minnesota's News Channel 5.
Good morning. I'm Joan London. President Reagan addresses the NATO allies and puts emphasis on the need for conventional force reductions in Europe.
I'm Charles Gibson. Also in the news this morning, Secretary of State George Shultz is getting ready to return to the Middle East and return to his shuttle diplomacy. In the weather, Spencer?
Well, Charlie, the powerful storm that produced hailstorms and tornadoes in the lower Mississippi Valley yesterday will produce flooding rains in the Tennessee Valley today.
Good morning, everyone. This is Thursday, March 3rd.
Nice to have you with us this morning. Have an interesting first half hour today.
You bet. Coming up this morning, we are going to be talking with Evan Meekum, who has been temporarily suspended from his duties as governor of Arizona. His impeachment trial is underway. It's already become a heated political spectacle, one which, interestingly enough, the governor himself has been sitting out.
And in a few minutes, we are also going to be talking with the Attorney General of the United States, Edwin Meese, about the war on drugs. President Reagan the other day said that war is an untold American success story, but some law enforcement officials are saying it has merely been a drop in the bucket at best, and that indeed it is not being one. Also ahead this morning, we're going to be talking to the director of Star Wars, George Lucas. He is fighting a war of his own. We'll be talking to him about that. First, we go to Washington, where Jed Duval has the news. Jed, good morning.
Good morning, Charlie. Joan.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. The two-day meeting of NATO leaders came to an end this morning with all agreeing there was a lot to agree about. The object of the first gathering in 6 years was unity, and that was achieved. As Lark McCarthy reports, President Reagan